All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again. So now President Trump does his very first interview after winning the election. And you know what Donald Trump decided to do? Go to NBC, Kristen Welker. And this is the thing about Kristen Welker. They like to ask Donald Trump these got you questions, and then he'll turn it back on them with something that Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrats did. And this is the approach that Kristen Welker tried to take in his interview, and it didn't go as planned. So as Donald Trump dominated this interview, and y'all gonna see something else that happened during this interview that I want everybody to see. We're gonna check this one out by DeVere Dawkins. The NBC host stunned as Donald Trump dominated the interview. And like I said before, she tried all these trick questions with Donald Trump, trying to help the Democrats out. We see exactly what Kristen Welker tried to do. We already knew NBC, whether Donald Trump would have went to CNN, ABC, they always try to throw these little trick questions in there to try to throw President Trump off, but he always one step ahead every single time. I want all of you to watch this entire video because I do not want you to miss what's going to happen, all right? So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section that you did watch the entire video. I really appreciate it. My last 3 videos, it showed me that everybody been staying to the end, and I really appreciate it because YouTube will share it so more people can see my reaction. So salute to everybody who always watches the entire video. Like I said before, let me know in the comment section that you did make it to the end. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let's go.
President-elect Trump sat down with Kristen Welker of Meet the Press to set the record straight. We know there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors about what he's going to do in this upcoming administration, but he makes the record very clear, and I think this is one of his best interviews yet. Let's start with one of the biggest questions that people are going to have. Will he be pardoning January 6 individuals?
I'm going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to be acting very quickly.
Within your first 100 days, first day?
First day.
First day.
Yeah, I'm looking first day.
Issue these pardons.
These people have been there, how long is it, 3 or 4 years?
Okay.
You know, by the way, they've been in there for years, and they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open.
Okay, so this is not rocket science, guys. Number one, there are clearly people who do not deserve to be in prison.
Exactly.
Individuals who weren't even physically there, even individuals that were there but were peacefully protesting. Clearly, if someone assaulted a police officer or damaged property, yeah, they probably belong in prison. So, you know, nobody is shocked that Trump is going to pardon, obviously, a certain amount of January 6 individuals. Okay,
Exactly.
There's that.
Yep.
Secondly, what they're so up in arms about is it exposes the corruption that took place inside the DOJ. There was a couple of cases that went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court actually called out the DOJ for how extreme and authoritarian they were in how they were handling these cases. And of course, the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, it won't be shocking once he gets replaced by Kash Patel. Here is Kristen Welker asking Trump about that.
Sir, are you going to fire the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who you appointed?
Well, I can't say I'm thrilled with him. He invaded my home. I'm suing the country over it. He invaded Mar-a-Lago.
Exactly.
I'm very unhappy with the things he's done. And crime is at an all-time high. Migrants are pouring into the country that are from prisons and from mental institutions, as we've discussed. I can't say I'm thrilled. I don't want to be Joe Biden and give you an answer and then do the exact opposite.
We're going to talk about
So
that,
I'm not going to do that.
There you go.
What I'm going to say is I certainly cannot be happy with him. You take a look at what's happened. And then when I was shot in the ear, he said, "Oh, maybe it was shrapnel." Where's the shrapnel coming from? Is it coming from? Is it coming from heaven? I don't think so. So we need somebody to straighten. You know, I have a lot of respect for the FBI, but the FBI's respect has gone way down over the last number of years.
Don't you have to fire him in order to make room for Kash Patel if he is in fact confirmed?
Well, I mean, it would sort of seem pretty obvious that if Kash gets in, he's going to be taking somebody's place, right? And somebody is the man that you're talking about.
Okay, just for your own information, only 41% of Americans.
And just like he said, he shouldn't be happy with the FBI, you know, for what they did in Mar-a-Lago and stuff. So why would he be happy with Christopher Wray, a man that tried to act like Donald Trump didn't get shot, or when Donald Trump went down, it could have been some glass. It's like he was trying to make excuses when he knew President Trump got shot and tried to say that it was some some glass or some Sharpie or something crazy like that, because Christopher Wray didn't care about President Trump getting shot. He tried to make an excuse. And that's crazy. He tried to make an excuse for the shooter. Oh, the shooter didn't shoot him. It was just some glass down when President Trump went down. Just straight lies. So why would he be happy with Christopher Wray? It's like, there you go. This the got you question that Kristen Welker and NBC like to do. But Donald Trump is one step ahead.
Believe that the FBI is doing a good job. That's the lowest approval rating in history. Okay, that's number one. Number two, fake Russia investigation into Trump. The unwillingness to actually investigate and prosecute Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
The suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yep.
The suppression of Jeffrey Epstein files. The raiding of Mar-a-Lago. I can go on and on and on.
Yep.
And so these are just examples on why the FBI is not trusted. Now, they're not the only one that you can't trust. I mean, what about the FDA? What about the pharmaceutical companies? What about the health community coming out of the government? They are not trusted at this point, especially when you're talking about autism in children and these vaccines. And yes, Trump was asked about that.
Let me ask you about RFK Jr. He has obviously talked about his skepticism of vaccines. He's expressed opposition to childhood vaccines. Do you want to see childhood vaccines eliminated?
If they're dangerous for the children. Look.
So possibly?
When you look at some of the problems, when you look at what's going on with disease.
Donald Trump literally just said, if it's dangerous for the children, and then she come right back, possibly? He just said, if it's dangerous for the children. So why would she say possibly? These people is ridiculous. Let's go.
And sickness in our country. Something's wrong.
Are you talking about autism?
Well, if you take a look at autism, you go back 25 years, autism was almost non-existent. It was, 1 out of 100,000. And now it's close to 1 out of 100.
Well,
I mean, what's happening?
Okay, so autism has been increasing, but they don't want us to believe it's due to the vaccines, but they make a significant money on vaccines, and you can't actually sue the vaccine companies. So tell me how that all makes sense, right? You can always find a study that says that vaccines do not contribute to autism. And if you're quoting that study from 25 years ago, yeah, you guys need an updated one, right? We need a true thorough investigation. This is why RFK Jr. needs to be nominated, needs to be confirmed, and head up these investigations, because all American parents are asking for is transparency. Okay, stop lying to us, give us the facts, and let us make up our own mind.
And I think a lot of good things are going to come from him. And he's not going to upset any system. He's not going to upset this. He's not looking to, to reinvent the wheel totally. But when you look at the numbers, we really don't have a very healthy country.
Well, sir, going back 25 years, studies show that there is no link between vaccines and autism. And yet it sounds like you are open to the possibility of him looking
I'm
at
open to
getting rid of them?
I think somebody has to find out. If you go back 25 years ago, you had very little autism. Now you have it. I mean,
well, they say because they're better at identifying it.
1 in 100,000, and now it's 1 in 100. That's a pretty bad number.
Childhood vaccines.
I mean, something is going on. I don't know if it's vaccines. Maybe it's chlorine in the water, right? People are looking at a lot of different things.
Childhood vaccines.
I want them to look at everything.
Everything. So childhood vaccines have prevented about 4 million deaths around the world every year.
I think that's great.
Isn't that?
See, the key statement that he said is, I'm open to anything. And that's all the American people are asking for.
That's it. That's all they're asking for.
Can our leaders be open-minded enough to actually do the research? To not
and another thing that I'm watching for, if you see when she asked Donald Trump a question and he answers, she always trying to turn it around and try to throw something slick in there to see if she can just get you Donald. Just watch all these little old gotcha moments that she tries to do on Donald Trump, but he's not going to fall for anything. And that right here is what she's talking about. And we all believe that RFK Jr. is the right person for this. It's just the media don't like him now because he said, forget the Democrats. I'm going over there to support President Trump. And now they are mad. That's why they're going after RFK Jr. saying he ain't the right person for the job. And nobody wants to hear that crap.
Down these concerns, to actually follow through and really get to the bottom of what's causing it, but to kick it down the road and say, well, since the drug companies and people who are creating these vaccines funded my campaign, I'm not really going to look into that, because that's really what's happening, and that's what's wrong with politics today. Okay, I just want to highlight something. This is the same government that said smoking cigarettes was healthy. So forgive me if I don't actually believe that they believe that autism is not due to vaccines. Stop it, okay? Okay, so this takes us to the next question about the 2020 election.
Here we go
She
again.
wants him to say that he has conceded. They're so obsessed with this, but she wasn't ready for his answer.
Sir, I don't have to tell you this because you've talked about it. It comes at a time when the country is deeply divided. And now you're going to be leading this country for the next 4 years. For the sake of unifying this country, will you concede the 2020 election and turn the page on that chapter?
No. No, why would I do that? But let me just tell you, when
won't
you
ever
say the
concede.
country is deeply divided, I'm not the president. Joe Biden's the president.
But you're going to be the president.
No.
Look what she just said. If she's saying that the way that the country is right now is not Donald Trump's fault. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has been the one that's been in charge for the last 4 years. So she's making it seem like it's Donald Trump's fault, and he's not even in office yet. And that right there is what he's saying. Hey, I'm not even in office yet. So if you're saying that that the divide into the country, that is not Donald Trump's fault. That's Joe Biden's fault. And that's exactly what Donald Trump said. And I'm so sick of this, is you going to concede? Why does they keep going back 4 years talking about the 2020 election? Why they don't ask Hillary Clinton about, do she concede? Look how she's been acting. They keep asking him the same question. He's not going to concede the 2020 election. I don't know why they keep asking him that. God.
I'm not the president. So when you say it's deeply divided, I agree. But Biden's the president. I'm not. And he has been a divider. And you know where he divided it more than anything else, and it probably backfired on him, I think definitely, is weaponization. When he weaponized the Justice Department and he went after his political opponent, me. He went after his political opponent violently because he knew he couldn't beat him. And I think it really was a bad thing. And it really divided our country.
All right, so maybe you guys can answer this in the comment section below, because I can't. Why is she so obsessed with the 2020
That's
election?
what I'm saying.
I mean, the 2024 election just ended. I mean, so why is she still holding on to the past? And it is true, because Joe Biden weaponized the DOJ, he actually made things significantly worse. So she should be directing that question to the current president of the United States.
Democrats have control of the White House now. They didn't in 2020. If they are going around stealing elections, why
When you
didn't
say
they do it
Democrats
this
have
time?
control now?
Of the White House.
Yeah.
So why didn't they steal this election?
I tell you the reason. The reason why. See, this is another one of them got you questions. If the Democrats be stealing the elections, why didn't they steal this one? Because I can tell you now, it was pretty much too big to rig, because we seen the results, how he just straight destroyed Kamala Harris. You can see the difference in the numbers. So it was too big to rig. If it was close, they would have tried to find a way to try to cheat. And Donald Trump knew that. So it was pretty much, if you see, it was too big to rig, like he was saying his entire time. On the campaign trail, we got to make it too big to rig. That's the reason why they couldn't cheat.
They have more power now.
Because I think it was too big to rig.
There you go.
So you won't.
Too big to rig.
To the people who say that you're now directing your Justice Department to investigate 2020, and they want to move on.
I have very capable.
Is
I
that
think
a
Pam
good
is going to
use
be
of
great.
precious resources?
By the way,
is that what you
just
want
so
them
know,
to do?
Just so you know, I have the right to do that, but I'm not interested in that.
Oh, you're not. You're not going to do that.
I'm not interested. I have
Okay.
the absolute right. I'm the chief law enforcement officer. You do know that. I'm the president. But I'm not interested in that. You know what I'm interested in? Drilling and getting prices down and stopping
you
people
go.
from pouring into our border that come from prisons and mental institutions.
Okay, so she claims that people want to move on, but she doesn't want to move on. They don't really want to move on, because if they did, they wouldn't ask him that type of question. And let's just all be honest. 81 million votes. Come on, I'm not stupid, all right? We're talking about an election that had a record-breaking amount of mail-in ballots that were not actually legitimate, meaning you had duplicate ballots, you had ballots with no signatures, wrong dates, anything that could be wrong with a ballot existed in 2020. In 2024,
You tell me Joe Biden got 81 million votes and he went to the beach and no one knew who he was. If Donald Trump go to the beach, everybody will be over there. Joe Biden goes to these beaches and nobody even knows he's here. They walk right past him. And you tell me he got 81 million votes. Give me a break.
was not allowed. So there's your difference right there, okay? And just for the record, just because he won't concede the 2020 election does not mean he hasn't moved on, because clearly he has. Now, here she is asking him about, will he prosecute his political opponent since he's nominating Kash Patel to be the FBI director?
You named Kash Patel to be the next FBI director. Yeah. He has a list in his book of 60 people that he calls members of the so-called deep state. It includes Democrats like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. It includes former members of your cabinet, from Bill Barr to Christopher Wray. You campaigned on destroying the deep state. Do you want Kash Patel to launch investigations into people on that list?
No, I mean, he's going to do what he thinks is right.
Do you think that's right?
Do you
think...
See, you see what she's trying to do? He's saying, look, that's what Kash Patel wants to do. So now she's trying to throw it back on Donald Trump to make it seem like that Donald Trump is telling Kash Patel, hey, go after these people right here. So you're going to see these gotcha questions, how she keep on just trying to interrupt. She'll ask the question, and Donald Trump can't even get a statement out without her just, are you sure? Or are you going to do this? This is what she's trying to do. And I like the way Donald Trump is going to answer this. Watch this.
For Ray, you campaigned on destroying the deep state. Do you want Kash Patel to launch investigations into people on that list?
No, I mean, he's going to do what he thinks is right.
Do you think that's right? Do you think that's right, sir?
If they think that somebody was dishonest or crooked or a corrupt politician, I think he probably has an obligation to do it. But
are you going to direct him to do it?
Look at this. Look at this.
We have two great people there. We have him and we have Pam. And Pam Bondi has been like a rocket ship. She's very popular and very good and very fair.
Now, the only reason why they're so pressed about Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Trump potentially weaponizing the DOJ to go after his political opponents is because they just did that.
Yep.
So, of course, they're guilty and they're projecting their insecurity.
Exactly. They just did that. So what they trying to do is throw it out there so Donald Trump don't do it. He like, look, I ain't got nothing to do with that. If that's what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel is going to do, if they think people was wrong, they going to do that. But I'm not telling them to do that. And that's the reason why she keep trying to put it back on Donald Trump to see if he telling them to do it. But yet they the one who just did that to him. So now they just trying to get in front of him and be like, oh, is you going to go after your political opponent? Is you going to go after Joe Biden? Is you going? These people are ridiculous. They are so two-faced. They are hypocrites.
Securities and their fears about it.
Is it your expectation, though, that Kash Patel will pursue investigations against your political enemies?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to see that happen?
If they were crooked, if they did something wrong, if they have broken the law, probably they went after me. You know, they went after me and I did nothing wrong.
Well, let me ask you this. You said President Biden, quote, that you're going to appoint a real special prosecutor to go after Joe Biden. You said that during the campaign.
Where?
You said that on Truth Social, June 12th, 2023. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Are you going to do that? Are you going to go after Joe Biden?
I'm really looking to make our country successful. I'm not looking to go back into the past. I'm looking to make our country successful.
There you go.
Retribution will be through success. If we can make this country successful, that would be my greatest. That would be such a great achievement. Bring it back.
So he ended with the bottom line, right? Which is he wants to make the country successful. And how he's going to do that is exactly what he campaigned on. Secure the border, stop the foreign wars, get the cost of living down, right? Make sure that you feel safe in your neighborhoods again, right? Make sure that crime is going down again. And that's exactly what people want. And that's why he's focused on that and not trying to go after his political opponents. Now, speaking of what people are focused on, what about mass deportation? Because we know we have a lot of criminals and a lot of gangs in our country because of the mass invasion under the Biden-Harris administration. And she asked him about that as well. Check it out.
Let's talk about mass deportation, one of your big agenda items. You've talked about prioritizing people who have criminal histories.
Correct.
But is it your plan to deport everyone who is here illegally over the next 4 years?
Well, I think you have to do it. And it's a very tough thing to do. But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally. The people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. And we're going to make it very easy for people to come in terms of they have to pass the test. They have to be able to tell you what the Statue of Liberty is. They have to tell you a little bit about our country. They have to love our country. They can't come out of prisons. We don't want people that are in for murder. So we had
There you go.
11,000 and 13,000 different estimates,
He
13,000.
literally said that on the campaign trail. You know, we got to get illegal aliens out of here, especially what they've been, you know, they did to a lot of families, children, and stuff like that. We got to put an end to that. He ran on it. So the thing is, he said they can come in, but they got to come legally. The problem is that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden opened the border and let all these illegal aliens over with 20 million. It was a whole lot of them. So it might take a while to try to get a lot of them out of here because a lot of them are bad, very, very bad people. So, I mean, he ran on saying what he was going to do.
In 99 murderers released into our country over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
They're walking down the streets. They're walking next to you and your family, and they're very dangerous.
The 13,000 figure, I think, goes back about 40 years.
No, it doesn't. No, it's within the 3-year period. It's during the Biden term. No, that was a fiction that they put that out. This was done by the Border Patrol. It's 13,099, and it's during the Biden period of time. And these are murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person.
Yep.
You don't want those people in this country.
Okay, so the real issue here is we have to do something, okay? We cannot continue to say, well, due to our level of compassion, we'll continue to allow murderers and rapists to come into our country.
Can't allow
That's
that.
what the ultra progressives believe in. They don't believe in actually criminalizing individuals who break the law when they cross the border.
Yep.
Again, if you do that, all you're allowing is a mass invasion, right? And that's not going to be good. All history shows that. This is why law and order and running the country from a place of common sense is much more effective. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but it's definitely better than just allowing everyone to come into our country illegally.
But you're saying something, sir, that's significant. I just want to make sure I'm clear, which is that you're saying, yes, you're going to focus on the people with criminal histories, but everyone who's here illegally has to go.
I'm saying this. We have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to get people that were taken out of mental institutions and put them back into their mental institution, no matter what country it is.
There you
Do you
go.
know that Venezuela, their prisons are at the lowest point in terms of emptiness that they've ever been. They're taking their people out of those prisons by the thousands, and they're drunk. And just to get back, because I know exactly what you're getting at. Number one, we're doing criminals, and we're going to do them really rapidly. We're getting the worst gang probably with MS-13 and the Venezuelan gangs are the worst in the world. They're vicious, violent people.
They are.
And you see what they've done in Colorado and other places. They're taking over, literally taking over apartment complexes and doing it with impunity. They don't care. They couldn't. They just are. They're in the real estate business.
You know, the local police say that is not the case in Colorado.
Oh, it's totally the case. I mean,
So she always talking about what the police said when we seen it on video what these Venezuela gangs are doing, and she's sitting up here talking about the police said. The police just was scared to go in there. So the thing is, it's like these people, they just listen to anything. The only thing they try to do is get Donald Trump with this gotcha stuff to make it seem like he don't know what he's talking about. This is what they put her there for. If you see all these questions that Kristen Welker been asking Donald Trump, if Kamala Harris was sitting in that chair, she would have nearly never asked her a majority of these questions that she didn't ask Donald Trump. They gave her all these softball questions, but when we come to Donald Trump, is you going to go after your political opponents? Is you going to do this? Well, the police them said this about this. I believe you lying right here. This is what they do. It's just, I got you.
Don't believe the local police.
I play it.
Okay, so the bottom line here, guys, is clearly she wants to push back and try to get into a debate about what's true and what's false.
That's what she wants.
The problem is NBC does not have a leg to stand on. They have zero credibility. We don't believe anything that they say. Just because a mayor comes out and says, no, the gangs did not take over the apartment complex does not make it true. Because you can have the mayor say that, but then you have multiple citizens who actually live in the apartment complex say otherwise. So who's telling the truth, right? There's that. And then there's also the fact of the matter is, are there a presence of gangs in Aurora, Colorado, and other areas of our country? Yes, there is.
They are.
I don't care if they took over apartment complexes or not. If they attempted to, that's already enough. We got to get them out of here. Okay, and finally, one question we're going to cover here is about the abortion, and should have asked him about will he ban abortion pills, because that's what the Democrats ran on trying to tell people that he would pass a national abortion ban. Check it out.
Let's talk about abortion, sir. You have taken responsibility for overturning Roe v. Wade. You've said that abortion is now a state issue. There are steps that you could take, though, though, as president, to restrict abortion through executive action without Congress. More than half of abortions in this country are medication abortions. Will you restrict the availability of abortion pills when you're in office?
I'll probably stay with exactly what I've been saying for the last 2 years, and the answer is no.
You commit to that?
Well, I commit. I mean, do things change? I think they change. I hate to go on shows like Joe Biden. I'm not going to give my son a pardon. I will not, under any circumstances, give him a pardon. I watched this, and I always knew he was going to give him a pardon, and so I don't like putting myself in a position like that. So things do change, but I don't think it's going to change at all.
And that's what makes Trump so different, right? He's not a politician. He's not going to tell you what you like to hear, right? And he's not going to skirt around the answers. Usually,
and like you said, things change. Things change. I told you, like if you look, this entire video was just all I'm trying to get you. I'm just trying to get a sound bite for CNN so they can run on it for weeks saying, well, Donald Trump said he wasn't going to do this. Now he did this. Now y'all can't say nothing about Joe Biden pardoning his son because look what just Donald Trump just did. Like that's why they put her there for, to try to get Donald Trump in a sound bite. And I like it. Every single answer, he like one step ahead of her, was not falling for the okie doke.
Just going to tell you what it is. And this is just another prime example of it. You know, right now he's not going to ban abortion pills, but he also can't really control what Congress is going to try to do. Right. And let's not be naive here. There will be Republicans who will try to do that, by the way. But it's clear that Trump will not pass a national abortion ban, no matter how many times the Democrats want voters to believe that. It just isn't going to happen. Now, let's take a moment to hear from today's sponsor.
Well, there we go right there, y'all. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Devori Darkins. Let him know in the comment section that the real Adogg sent you. Y'all can see it up on the show, the Devori Darkins. Make sure y'all type that in. Go subscribe to him. Like I said, let him know that I sent y'all. But as you can see, Donald Trump straight destroyed. I mean, just straight dominated this interview. He was not finna let Kristen Welker get him in a soundbite. And just like he said, I'm not finna be like Joe Biden saying I'm not gonna do something and then turn around a week later and do it. Like, because things does change. But especially not for something like that, all the crap that Hunter did, and you gave him a pardon all the way back from 2014, I think, to what now? Like, that right there is crazy. It's like Joe Biden was covering his own steps because he knew he could be investigated. So he went all the way back so they couldn't get him on anything. So that right there is what they's all about. I wonder if Joe Biden do like a interview. Let's see if they going to ask Joe Biden all of these tough questions, and let's see exactly what's going to happen. So like I said, thank y'all all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.